Hi everyone. I have already given you the question answers of lesson number 10 of English 2, that is one Friday morning. But the explanation part is yet to be done. So today we'll see the explanation of one Friday morning. So this chapter, One Friday Morning, is written by Langston Hughes, who was an American writer. He was a playwright, poet, and mostly he used to write based on his own experiences, and he was a very famous writer of his times. So this chapter, One Friday Morning, the story which is written by Langston Hughes, it deals with racism. Now, what is racism? So racism is basically the unfair means of dealing people of different caste or color. Okay, so there was a time when there was a lot of discrimination between black and white people. Black and white people means white people were the Americans, and the Africans were, because of their black color, they were known as black people. And these white people, they used to think that they are superior, and they used to dominate the black ones, the Africans. So this story is about this racism, this racial discrimination. So in this story, there is a young African American girl. African American girl means she's an African. She's basically from Africa, but living in America. So that is African American girl. So there is an African American girl whose name is Nancy Lee. Okay, Nancy Lee, who moved from Africa to America with her parents, so that the parents may provide her with a better life, better education, schooling and all. So they are moved to America. Now this girl is Nancy Lee, is extremely talented in drawing. She's a very good artist, watercolor painting. She's very good at watercolor painting, and she also had applied for scholarship, and she one of her drawings got selected in a contest, and everyone was very everyone kind of knew that she will win the prize. But what actually happens, what happens is that because of the racial discrimination, when the committee, those who were those who decide for the award, when they came to know that she's a brown or black girl, she was denied the award or scholarship that would have been her ticket to a bright future, but she was denied of this award. And so yes, sadly, there are people in the world who are blind by the race, and they forget that God has created this universe with equal rights and justice for all the people. So in olden days, there was a fight between black and white people, and this story is based on that. So now I am going to read the story, and I'll give you the explanation paragraph wise. Okay, so let's start. So you all open page number 97, and I'm going to read the story, and you also just listen to what I'm reading. Nancy Lee Johnson is an African whose family has moved to America from Africa many years ago. In school, encouraged by her art teacher, Miss Dietrich, Nancy Lee excels at drawing. One of her best pictures has been entered in a contest, and everyone expects her to win. So does she win the well-known Artists Club Award? Read on to find out. Now, as I told you, that the full name is Nancy Lee Johnson, and she's an African, and she has moved to America along with her family. And she's very good at drawing, and she has her art teacher who always encourages her, motivates her to to draw more and more. And the art teacher name is Miss Dietrich. So one of her pictures got selected for this contest, and everyone was very sure that she is going to win this award. Now what happens, we'll see. One wet rainy April afternoon, Miss O'Shea, the vice principal, sent for Nancy Lee. So it was an April afternoon. It was a rainy day. It was raining, and her vice principal, whose name is Miss O'Shea, she sent for means she called. It means she sent somebody to call Nancy Lee. So Nancy Lee knocked on Miss O'Shea's door. So obviously, when somebody went and called her, she'll immediately appear. So she came. She knocked at the door. The familiar voice said, "Come in." Familiar means well known. When you are aware of the voice, you know whose voice it is. So that obviously that was Miss O'Shea, and she from inside she said to come in. "Sit down, Nancy Lee Johnson," said Miss O'Shea. "I have something to tell you." Nancy Lee sat down. So as soon as Nancy Lee entered, Miss O'Shea told her that she has got some news for her, but first you sit down. "You have been an excellent student, Nancy, as I'm sure you know," began Miss O'Shea. Now, Miss O'Shea began what she wanted to say. She said that, as you already know, that you are a very good student. You have been an excellent student here. Now, as she was going, what happened? At that point, there was a light knock on the door. Miss O'Shea called out, "Come in," and Miss Dietrich entered. "May I be part of this too?" she asked, tall and smiling. And while she was just going to tell her who came inside, her art drawing teacher, Miss Dietrich, she also knocked at the door, and she came inside, and she said that she also want to be the part of this discussion. So this Miss Dietrich was a very nice lady. She was the physical this thing is given. She's tall and she has a happy face. So she wanted to be the part of this giving news discussion. "Of course," Miss O'Shea said. "I was just telling Nancy Lee what we thought of her, but I haven't yet given her the news. Perhaps, Miss Dietrich, you'd like to tell her yourself." Now, Miss O'Shea was she just started telling her, and now she's telling Miss O'Shea that I was telling Nancy how good she is at studies, but yet I have not given her the news. Now, what is the news? Now, Miss O'Shea wants Miss Dietrich, that because she's her drawing teacher, she wants her to give the news to Nancy Lee. Now, what's the news? Miss Dietrich was always direct. All direct means what? Direct means that she was a very straightforward lady, and she always speaks her mind. She was honest, and she always says the things clearly. She doesn't move around and uses the word. She tells whatever she wants to say directly on the face. So Nancy Lee, she said, "Your picture has won the Artist Club Award." So it is, she, without saying anything extra, she just told directly to Nancy Lee that her picture was one of the best drawings, and so she got this a big award, that is Artist Club Award. It's a big award, and she has won that prize. The slender brown girl's eyes widened and her heart jumped. She tried to smile, but instead tears came to her eyes. Now Nancy Lee was so shocked, not shocked, she was so surprised with the news that she couldn't believe it. And slender brown girl, slender means she was a thin, slender means thin. She was a thin girl with brown eyes, and her eyes got widened. When you hear some exciting news, some very good news, you just cannot believe it, and it looks like your heart just skipped a beat. So she's saying it's written her heart jumped. Her heart jumped means it was like her heart skipped a beat out of excitement. She was so excited. She was so happy to hear the news. She tried to smile. She wanted to smile. She was so happy, but instead of that, tears were coming out of her eyes, and those tears were the tears of joy. "Dear Nancy Lee," Miss O'Shea said, "we are so happy for you." The elderly white woman shook her hand warmly, while Miss Dietrich beamed with pride. Now, Miss O'Shea said that they are very proud of Nancy Lee, and they are very happy for her. They're very proud of her. And then the vice principal, Miss O'Shea, was obviously a elderly white woman. It's written white woman here. Why? Because she's an American. She shook her hand warmly with Miss Dietrich, beamed with pride. While Miss Dietrich beamed with pride. Beamed with pride means she was feeling very proud that Nancy is her student. You know, you feel proud, no, when somebody related to you gets some achievement, some big prize or something. So she was feeling very proud. She was very happy for her. Turn your page. Miss O'Shea had called Nancy Lee to the office, both to prepare her and warn her. Now, Miss O'Shea had called Nancy Lee. Why she has called her to the office? First, of course, to give her the news. Now, what is the second thing? To prepare her and warn her. In making her acceptance speech, the vice principal wanted Nancy Lee to be calm and prepared. Now, Miss O'Shea wanted Nancy Lee to give a speech. Maybe next day they are planning to do the announcement in the assembly, and she wants Nancy Lee to go on stage and give a acceptance speech. So what is acceptance speech? It is the speech which is made to thank people and show how grateful you are for being given an award, honor, and so on. So that is an acceptance speech. So Miss O'Shea wants Nancy Lee to give the acceptance speech and what she should say and all that. So she should be well prepared. It's not like you go on the stage and just out of excitement you say anything. So that is not good. So it's better to be prepared well in advance. So Nancy Lee was asked to think about what she would say at the Friday morning assembly hour when the announcement would be made. Nancy Lee promised the vice principal to think calmly about what she would say. Now see, at the Friday morning, from here the name of the story comes, One Friday Morning, because all this function was supposed to be held at Friday morning. So this is how the name comes, One Friday Morning. What happened? She gets the prize or she doesn't get, whatever happens. So this is One Friday Morning story. So she says that, Nancy Lee says that, don't worry ma'am, I'll be well prepared. I'll think what I have to say and you won't be disappointed by my speech. Soon Friday morning came. The night before, Nancy Lee had gone to bed thinking about the next day. Her short speech was ready and she went over it in her mind. So now the Friday morning also has come, and just before the Friday morning, that is Thursday night, she was in the bed and she was thinking, what will happen tomorrow? How will I, you were excited now when you have to go on stage in the assembly the next day, and suppose you have to say news or thought or prayer. So you think, no, that, or you have to give any speech, you think, no, how it will go, will it be okay, how will I speak and all that, and you keep on revising. So the same thing Nancy Lee is also doing. She is revising the speech so that it goes perfectly well. When the president of our artist club presented her with the award, she planned to say, now what she's planning, that when the president will come and she would be given the prize, what she's going to say. Judges and members of the artist club, I want to thank you for this award. It means so much to me. So now you start like this, no? Jury members, teachers, respected principal, like this is the way of starting. So she's just started the same way, judges and members of the artist club, because it is all about the drawing. So it is artist club, and she's starting the speech by thanking them. And of course, the prize means a lot to her. Why? It means a lot to her. Why? The colored people of the city. Now, colored people. Here, colored people means the black or brown people, basically the Africans, are sometimes discouraged, thinking that color and poverty are against them. Now, she's saying that the African in this city, the black people are sometimes discouraged. Discouraged means they are not treated the way they should be. They are treated differently, and because of this color and poverty, they do not allow them to do a lot of things. They are not given equal opportunities, equal rights. I accept this award not for myself alone, but for my race. Now, this award is so important to me that it is not just for me, but it is for my whole race. Race means here community, the whole black people, the whole African community. We believe in America. We believe in its opportunities and fairness. So, being an African, I am living in America and I believe in America. I believe in the justice and fairness of America, that it is dealing with the equal rights with everyone. There's no racial discrimination going on there, and that is why this award is so important to me. So here fairness means that equal rights and justice. That is the meaning of fairness here. I thank Miss Dietrich and the teachers who gave me the knowledge and training to win this award. Now she's thanking her teachers, especially Miss Dietrich, who has groomed her well in the drawing. When I came to this school a few years ago, you received me well. Now she's telling how she was received when she joined the school, when she came from Africa. So she's telling that you all accepted me so well. It's not like I am African, so I am not allowed to study there. No, all the teachers, principal, and my classmates, they all accepted me. You have given me a chance and helped me along the road I wanted to follow. So you all have accepted me so well. You have given me chance to study with you, and you helped me along the road. Means along the road means like to follow her path, to go through this way, and helped how they helped to win this award. Thus, Nancy Lee went to sleep dreaming of a wonderful tomorrow. So, this is all she was thinking, that the next day she would be saying all these things, and she was feeling very, happy, and she was expecting a wonderful tomorrow. At school on Friday morning, Nancy Lee was asked to see Ms. O'Shea in her office again. Now she reaches school. It's already a Friday morning, and again somebody comes and tells her that Miss O'Shea, that vice principal, wants to see her in the office. Soon after, Nancy Lee knocked at Miss O'Shea's door. She reaches there. She knocks at the door. Come in. Came Miss O'Shea's voice. She allowed her to come inside. The vice principal stood at her desk. There was no one else in the room. Now when she entered, as she entered, Miss O'Shea herself stood, and there was no one else in the room. Sit down, Nancy Lee, she said. Miss O'Shea did not smile. There was a long pause. Now, there was something strange going on. When she entered, first of all, Miss O'Shea herself stood. Why she has to stand? Anyways. So she asked Nancy to sit down, and she was not smiling. It was such a big day. It was such a happy day. She was supposed to look at Nancy Lee and smile, but instead she was not smiling. She was having a very a gloomy face. There was a long pause. Means there was a silence. She did not say anything for a while. I do not know how to tell you what I have to say, the elderly woman began. Now she started in a very, with a strange line. She's saying that I don't know what I'm going to say, how I'm going to say. I'm ashamed for myself and for this city. Now, what is there that she's feeling so ashamed, so guilty, not only for herself, but for the city, for the whole city? Then she lifted her eyes and looked at Nancy Lee in the neat blue dress sitting there before her. It was a big day for Nancy Lee, so she dressed up very smartly. She was wearing a very neat blue dress and with all perfect dressed up and all. So she looked at Nancy Lee and she told her what? You are not to receive the award this morning. So she gave a very shocking news to her. What was the news? That you are not to receive the award this morning. Outside, the electric bells rang loud and long. Miss O'Shea remained silent. Now, just as she finished, the assembly bell rang, and it was so silent inside that the bell seemed so loud and so long. Then she said, when the committee learned that you were colored, they changed their plans. Committee means the group of people who were, supposed to make the decisions about something. That is committee. So when they came to know, when the art group people, they came to know that the one who is getting the award is black, they changed their decision. When they came to know that the one who is getting award is not a white person, it's a black person, they changed their decision. Nancy Lee said nothing. So she was so shocked that she said nothing. She wouldn't believe this, that this is happening. Nancy Lee, I'm very sorry to have to give you this message. So she's feeling so sorry that she has to, the day before she gave such a big news, and today she has to give such a bad news to her. But my speech, Nancy Lee said, what about the words stuck in her throat? About America. She said, what about my speech? I prepared the speech for America. I prepared the speech that I believed in America. I believed in American fairness and fair justice. What about that speech? She was very, sad, and she was very sad about this thing that happened, that they have she was denied of this award because of her color. This really shocked her so much. Miss O'Shea had risen and stood looking out of the window. Miss O'Shea herself was very sad, and she stood and she was looking out of the window. I know, said Miss O'Shea, slowly facing her room again. Those who deny you this award do not know the meaning of the stars in a flag. Now Miss O'Shea was very, she was very upset. She says that she knows and she understands her feelings about America, and she knows that she has good feelings for America, and she wants to believe in America. These people who denied means refuse to give award to her. They do not know the meaning of the patriotism or the stars in this flag of America. If you see the flag of America, there are several stars in the flag. Okay, so she's saying that the stars in the flag of America are not just for the show. It's not just for the decoration, but it has some meaning. The stars are not just for the show. It symbolizes the justice and equality, but it's up to us to make them know. But it is the people, we are there, we will tell him that this is not right. Okay, we need to get them to understand these kind of people, because then no one else will do it. We'll just listen and we forget this is not the right thing. As a teacher, I will go before the school board and ask them to remove the offer of any prizes or awards denied to any student because of race or color. So she's saying that as she's a vice principal of the school, she has got some authorities. So she will use the authority and she will keep forward this rule that if any student is getting a prize because the person is in white color or whatever, they will not accept it. And similarly, if a student is denied of the award because of the color, they will not accept this too. Miss O'Shea's clear blue eyes looked into those of the girl before her. The woman's eyes were full of strength and courage. Lift up your head, Nancy Lee, and smile at me, Miss O'Shea said. So Miss O'Shea's clear blue eyes means like the sad eyes. It is the eyes are of course sad. And she's looking at Nancy Lee's, and the woman's eyes here are full of strength and courage. Also, although they were sad, but it's full of courage, and she's trying to boost up Nancy Lee too. She's saying that Nancy Lee should not lose hope, and she should stand and fight for this. Nancy Lee lifted her head and smiled. The bell for assembly rang. She went through the long hall towards the auditorium. Now, Nancy Lee also understood what Miss O'Shea is trying to say. She's not willing to accept the fact that the scholarship was, or the award was, withdrawn simply because of her color, her race, and that she's not going to be discouraged by this. Okay, so she smiled, and then the assembly bell rang and she went towards the auditorium. There will be other rewards, Nancy Lee thought. There are schools, other schools in the cities. This won't keep me down. So she's thinking while going towards the auditorium, she's thinking that, so what if I have not got this award? There will be million of other awards. There are hundred of other schools who will give me awards. This is not just the first and last award. So I should not lose my hope. This won't keep me down. This won't keep me down. This means this won't let me down. This will not make me feel defeated. But when I'm a woman, means when I'll grow up, I'll become a woman, I'll fight to see that these things don't happen to other girls as this has happened to me. And men and women like Miss O'Shea will help me. So she's thinking that when she'll be grown up, when she'll become a woman, then with the help of people like Miss O'Shea, she is going to start a resolution, and to make sure that this will not happen to other people in the future like it has happened to her. So yes, this is the story, and it tells that life brings many disappointments, and but what we should learn is that we should become stronger. We should learn from this disappointments, and we should become more strong. And of course there will be discrimination because it's a part of life. So discrimination occurs maybe for many reasons. There may be discrimination, there will be rich, poor, racism, different kinds of discrimination may be there, and it's still present in the society. But we should learn and realize that no one deserves to be treated unfairly, and as far as possible we should fight against this discrimination. So children, this is the story, One Friday Morning. Please go through the chapter, read the story, and still if you have any doubt, I'm there. Thank you.